this rage inside of me that I just can't wait to unleash. I'm invincible, I'm unstoppable, I'm alive.
All right, everybody, hi, and welcome to the official Body Spartan podcast. My name is Gabe Tuft. I'm the founder of Body Spartan and your host for the next hour. I am joined by my lovely wife, co-host, former WNSO Pro Master Licensed Sports Nutritionist, former Muscle Mag cover model appearing in Oxygen magazine spreads all over the nation, and one sexy mama of a wife.
Oh
the one, the only, the legendary Priscilla Tuft.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. Oh, I really do, though. Like, that made me feel phenomenal. Can you just say that to me every single morning? Like, when I hand you your coffee? Like,
or just like
that's
roll
how I
out of
want it to
bed.
sound.
Good morning, Priscilla Tuft, WNSO Pro Fitness Competitor, licensed master sports nutritionist, former cover model for Muscle Mag, Max Sports and Fitness, BTM Magazine.
Okay, we get the point.
Okay,
But
you've been on some
really,
covers. You've done
that
some
is
things.
really sweet. Oh my gosh. Thank
I don't
you.
know. I'm just, credit where credit's
Hello,
due.
everybody. Buddy. Great to see you tonight. Hi. No, I really feel empowered, so thank you.
Good. You should feel empowered. You've done a lot of shit in your life, and it's not often we get a chance to talk about it.
Well, thank you for flaunting me. That made me feel really good.
Hey, you know what I want to flaunt? I want to flaunt that
Not in here. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I should zip that back up. I want to flaunt that our elite members section has been officially rebranded. It is no longer the elite member section. It is the Spartan Army. That's
You know
right.
why? Because y'all are awesome.
Yeah.
Y'all are our fit fam. Those of you that are members of our elite section, you are blowing our minds. You are like family to us. Being on the call with you, the Zoom call every single week, getting to know who you are, getting to know your personalities, and generating this content that is just for you every single week has made us really attached to the idea of who you are. And you're not just elite members with your noses up in the air.
Yeah, it just sounds so
You
bleh.
are freaking militant. You are soldiers. You are an army. You're powerful. And so we are rebranding the idea of the member section because we are going to be bringing you more content. We are going to be loving on you harder. We are going to be getting up close and personal. We want to know what you guys are about so that we can serve up more of the specific content that you're craving.
Well, and also, we wanted, when we started the member section, we're like, okay, we want these people to feel special because they are special. They're our VIP, they're our peeps, man. These are our close peeps that we're giving special things to, so we're calling them elite. But I'm like, you know what? You're totally right, Pete. It's not about being elite. You guys are the fucking warriors. Like, you are the ones that are putting in the work, and it's obvious that you're putting in the work. You are getting our attention. When you become part of the Spartan Army, you get access to the Spartan Army Training Center, which has all this cool shit we do every week. You get a workout video that is, and by the way, guys, none of this gets posted anywhere else. It's only posted in the Spartan Army Training Center, formerly the elite member section. In the training center, you get a workout a week. So we're going to pick a different body part every single week. We'll do a workout video. We'll show you the proper technique, and we're going to list it in tabular form. So you just look at your phone, check the workout video real quick, and then do the exercises when you go to the gym. That way you got a new workout every single week. We're also going to give you, which we have been giving you, a cooking show. And it's anywhere from, 4 to 6 minutes max, maybe?
Just kidding. We're not.
Yeah,
no, we are.
We totally are. But what we're doing is we're bringing you shredding and bulking recipes. And of course, we have a shredding and bulking program, Genesis and Unleashed.
Speaking of which, I freaking made keto pizza today. Did you try that?
No, I didn't get a chance.
Keto pizza. It was so good.
What did you use for the crust and stuff?
You're going to have to watch the video.
You're going to have to be part of the Spartan Army.
But of course, I had to show Unleashed how to do it too. I'm like, for Genesis, Revolution, here's your nutrition plan. But for Unleashed, we mixed it up. We did a gluten-free pizza crust. It
With
was
carbs.
Carbs.
Well, so that carbs. Well, that's what we do. So we give you a shredding and bulking recipe every week. What we do is we show you options for keto, which is the shredding for Genesis.
Hold on.
What?
So the other day, I go and I give Mia a hug goodnight. She's like, Mommy, can I have a hug that's going to last a lifetime? Like before, I'm like, oh, my little 5-year-old baby, of course. And so I lean over her little toddler bed and I give her a hug. And she's like spitting out. She's like, Mom, I'm eating hair. Don't you know I'm cutting down on carbs?
Our kid said that.
What? No, she will seriously. She'll be like,
cutting down on carbs
Daddy,
tomorrow.
is that in your macros?
Oh, she calls me.
Or
out
she'll be
all
like,
the
Daddy,
time.
aren't you supposed to be keto this week?
I get
And you're like,
called
it's
out.
my refeed day.
like,
And
shut
she's
the
like, it's
fuck
not
up,
your
dude.
refeed
I
day.
have
Like,
wanted to-
she knows.
Like, I'm looking around to see if anybody's here. Like, I just want to backhand her sometimes when she calls me. I'm like, this is my fucking cheat meal, kid. Shut up.
oh, God. You would never, her little
Oh, God, no,
sweet little
no.
face.
It's just a figure of speech.
Would never. But she is kind of like a smarty pants. Mia is
Kind
a
of.
total smarty pants. Sparty pants.
Spartan pants.
Sparty
So enough about our kid. Anyway, about the Spartan Army. So you get the workout, you get the recipe show, and then you also get what we call a pro fit tip. So one of us, it'll be me, Priscilla, Howard, Brandon, or pro INBA pro competitor with David Larson, brand ambassador, just got his pro card in his very first competition,
And is competing again tomorrow at
yes.
the Tahoe show.
Yes.
It's going to crush it.
and so we are bringing you one of our insider secrets. So it's basically like a tweaking technique. So if you're doing you're doing a bicep curl, twist your wrist just a little bit this direction so you can get a better contraction, and then you squeeze, and everything from meal prep to rolling. I mean,
So you're trying to turn everybody into tweakers. That's great.
totally into tweakers. You just make it so hard.
You're
for me.
just-
So also, one of the biggest secrets to success is motivation. And you guys know, if you know Body Spartan, you know we bring some serious fucking motivation. And we can never give enough of that to you guys because we feel like that's paramount to success. So every week, one of us is in the studio here, and we are spitting motivation to the camera just for our Spartan Army.
It's paramount to success, but truth be told, these are all the things that we wish we had when we were struggling to find the answers
yeah.
and looking for success.
Oh,
so
God, yeah.
we basically are like, okay, shoot, this is an area that I've been growing in personally. And so we will create steps for success and download them to you guys. Don't be afraid to do this for other people. Shoot, like, it's one of the 6 human needs is contribution and giving back. So if you can take the passion and the love that we are giving to you, especially those that are in the Spartan Army, take this information and regurgitate it, give it to people, because you're going to change other people's lives. That's what this is all about.
Well, one of the things that I wished I had growing up and being in, a fitness-minded kid, somebody that was in the gym all the time, one of the things I wish I had was access to pros to actually ask them my questions and listen to them talk, and things like Fit Expos
And like for free, because you're kind of listening to a podcast for free.
well, right
and
now-
getting like all this stuff that we've paid like thousands and thousands of dollars for. And we're like,
thousands.
oh, we're going to bring it down, make it easier.
You can't put a price on years of experience either. So, but talking to a pro directly or talking to one of my avatars directly, or that just wasn't available to me. The last thing that we are giving as part of the weekly content in the Spartan Army is a weekly video call. So it's one of us in the studio with the webcam, and we'll prepare something every single week. It's about a 20-30 minute long call where we're going to talk for 20 minutes about some insider shit, and then we're going to go into Q&A and let you're
Hey,
wanting to talk?
actually,
you're serious? You're waving your hands in the air like a mad
I want to
person.
give our podcasters the opportunity right now to ask any question that they can possibly think of. Who wants to ask a question? Ask a question right now. We are listening. Okay, nobody? All right. Now, if you do have a question, obviously you can't ask us when you're on a podcast, but we will listen to you on the Zoom call and we will talk to you live back and forth because we want to know the things that are on your hearts and on your minds. And we're going to actually answer your question.
I'm playing along with this. Like, where's she going with this? I'm like, what? You can't. Okay.
He's looking at
I
me
see
like,
what you're
you're
doing.
so
I see-
strange.
You're making a
He's
joke.
like, you're
I get it.
hot, but you're strange.
You are hot. So that is the video call, and it's literally only the Spartan Army has access to this, and we sit and we answer every single fucking question, guys. Sometimes we have 100 people on this call. That's all that is allowed. We have seats for 100 people, so every week, get a seat. Make sure you reserve ahead of time and get on this fucking call because we are like one-on-one with you guys. Sean Smith, our camera guy, our director of creative, he is on there moderating. So he's watching every single question, taking notes. Everybody gets their questions answered. And you can talk directly to me, to Priscilla, to Howard, to Brandon, or to David. I mean, this is killer. And sometimes Cage is on too.
And the alternative is you can just ask us a question right now on the podcast. Nobody? Okay. That's okay.
You're fucking
when you're
So
When
the
you're
Spartan
ready.
Army, guys.
With
Really
Zoom
quick,
call.
Spartan Army. You get new video content every week. You get a workout with a tabular workout associated with it, or a workout video, and you get the tabular workout. You get a recipe. You get a pro fitness tip. You get a motivational video just for the Spartan Army, and you get access to that video call that happens every single fucking week at 6 p.m. Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to check this out, guys, we have a 30-day free trial. Always is a 30-day free trial.
Did he stutter? Because really, this is something really big that happened. We've been giving away 2 weeks for free. We've been giving 15 days away for free. 14 days.
Actually, 2 weeks is 14.
14.
A fortnight, sweetheart.
A fortnight.
A fortnight.
And then on the 15th day, no more.
Thou
You're done.
hast
That's
gotten
it.
a fortnight.
However, when we went to Seattle, we freaking fell in love with you guys. And so many of you had never heard about the Spartan Army. And so we came home freaking excited, and we decided to bump it up to 30 days for free.
If you want this, guys, bodyspartan.com/Spartan Army. Bodyspartan.com/Spartan Army. Check it out on your phone right now. Go sign up for that 30-day trial. You got nothing to lose, guys. If you don't, for any reason, you don't want to keep going after 30 days, just cancel. And if you get charged and you didn't want it, we'll give you your money back. Just email Sean at info@bodyspartan.com. Tell him, I got charged. I wanted to cancel. He'll refund your money. We want to make sure that you guys are satisfied. But trust me, the call alone is worth the price. It's invaluable. So, speaking of invaluable information, tonight we're going to talk about how to hack your brain. And this is one of my favorite topics ever because this subject
We're going to
changed my life. Changed my life and changed Priscilla's life.
Well, no, the moment just came and gone. You were going to give me a chance. I was just going to
I was
like,
signaling to Priscilla like she was
We're
starting to
gonna-
talk. I'm like, wait,
we're going
hand
to
wasn't there.
hack because your brain is whack. And then I was going to go off on like a little like rap thing because I thought it would be cute. But now I see clearly that it's just really not that cute.
If you could paint a
Stop
picture right
looking
now
at
for
me
the
like that.
audience on how I'm looking at you. Very blank. It's that awkward stare where it's like just saying, what the
Have you ever seen an owl? An owl that just sits there and you're like, is it even breathing? But you know it's alive because it's like blinking and its head's moving. Okay.
So hacking your brain. Now, this is something that really happens, guys. Your brain, think of your brain as like a biological supercomputer. It's the Intel processor that is inside of you, along with the motherboard and along with your RAM, your random access memory, and your read-only memory, your ROM. So like your brain, when you're born, you got ROM. You have a boot sequence.
Baby,
you
you're
breathe.
geeking out really hard
This
right
is
now.
really important.
But you are way geeking out.
This
Like,
is-
like
you have
RAM
to
and ROM and ROM.
You have to understand this to
Ream
understand
and-
hacking. What do you think the term neurohacking comes from? A fucking computer. So think about this, guys. When you're born, your body has processes that it does automatically. So like when you turn on your computer, it goes through a boot sequence. It does things automatically. We breathe. We smell. We move our hands. We see. We process the images that are placed in front of our eyes. That is the read-only memory. That is the things that you do without thinking. All the things that happen in the background. Your kidneys process all the liquids that you drink. Your stomach digests the food that you eat.
And this is a result of your subconscious mind. You don't have to think. Your body just does these things for you.
Very true. And so this is where it gets really interesting because when we are born, from the second we are born, we are learning programs. We are learning routines and subroutines.
We are downloading systems for living.
Absolutely.
So when the information goes in and the belief is set, I like to call this BS, your belief systems. These can come from a number of ways. Normally, they are derived before the age of 6 because actually before the age of 7, your brain functions primarily in an alpha brainwave state. Therefore, you are highly suggestible and you are downloading information that is being embedded in your subconscious mind faster than a speeding, what is that? Faster than what is the
You think of
Superman thing? Yeah.
Faster than a speeding bullet. I don't know.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Wah,
More
wah,
powerful than a locomotive, faster than a speeding bullet. What she really means to say is faster than a Google fiber optic cable. There you go.
Oh, geek out.
So yeah, we have these belief systems that are embedded in us from when we were children. So like Priscilla was saying,
an example.
The most highly suggestible brainwave state is an alpha brainwave state, and you have very different brainwave states. There's alpha, there's beta, there's theta, and I think that's it, right? There's 3 major ones.
Well,
Delta's the other one.
alpha brainwave state, which is what you operate in before the age of 7. This brainwave state is the same as when you are meditating. Now, if you're a monk or freaking amazing at meditating, you'll go into the theta state, which is the state right before falling asleep.
Also called the hypnagogic state.
Yes. And this is the state where you start thinking of like crazy stuff. Like just, I don't know, you feel like almost you're high. Gabe and I play this game where we lay in bed and we keep talking until the second we fall asleep, and we laugh and talk until we fall asleep. Just whatever comes into our brain we talk about. That's the beginning of the theta brainwave state.
Well, so much happens there too. That is completely for a different podcast, but things like astral projection, the separation of your spiritual body. So people, there's a theory that I want to say has been proven through science, where basically your astral body is your etherical body, and it's your spirit, and basically it separates from your physical body when you sleep on a completely different plane of existence. And that falling, when you guys fall asleep and you feel that sensation like you're falling and you wake yourself up, that is your astral body separating from your physical body. At least that is what experts on this. And well, there's a lot of studies that have happened. There's a whole
and a lot of military studies that have been done with it.
Oh, for things like remote viewing, absolutely. Yeah,
just saying.
That's a thing. That's really a thing. So
like spying across enemy lines. But again, that's another podcast.
What you were getting at is that before the age of 7, we have all of these programs that are taught to us. So we're basically little computers that are learning these programs for life. So
before the age of 7, you're in that alpha brainwave state most of the time. Now, if you're watching a lot of TV, if you're brushing your teeth with fluoride, if you're doing all these crazy things, you may not have that big of a window. But before the age of 6, these belief systems...
Let me cut you off, just so we can paint this picture for everybody listening. Why would watching TV take you out of the alpha brainwave state? It's because it operates at a very specific frame rate. And it's been proven that it puts you into a vegetative state, of a highly vegetative state. So your ability to learn is shot.
And the scientific phrase for the vegetative state, the dum-dum state.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called.
But it's like you really just kind of just don't care, and you're just going to let things happen. Like, ever talk to your kid when they're watching TV and you're like, Mia, come do the dishes. Well, they just kind of sit there and
they completely ignore you. And also the attention span of a child is much less. You've noticed that with Mia. If she has any TV whatsoever, even if it's something educational, her attention span post television is super short.
And because of the electromagnetic field, she's more hyper.
Actually, here's not to sidebar too much, but this is while we're talking about TV.
Jeez, we cannot stay on topic.
Well, I was downstairs talking to Rick, and we were talking about some crazy stuff with children and TV. He goes, "Hey, have you ever seen? Did you ever let Mia watch this show called Lazy Town?" I'm like, "Nah, we never let her watch shit like that. I don't even know what it is." He's like, "Dude, you got to check out Lazy Town, and the theme song is called Bing Bang." He's like, there's a lot of weird shit in it because when Rick was dating a woman who had a little girl. It was, I think, what was Sam? She was like Mia's age, I think, a little younger.
From the age of 2 to 4, they lived together.
2 to 4, that's what it was. And so they would let her watch this, but I started watching just for shits and giggles. Tonight. And it was very disturbing just to see, like, there were a lot of, like, weird homophobic references and, like, some very sexual stuff. Not that there's anything wrong being, hetero or homo. What's the word?
But it's like
nothing wrong with that.
Be able to choose our belief systems.
What I'm getting at is that kids TV, when I watched this and I thought back on it, and being a director and somebody that makes videos all the time, I realized that attention spans are very short. So if you watch the Body Spartan videos, I switch points of view all the time. And when there's something important, I let it sit for a minute. So if I'm talking in the studio and I'm overlaying video content of us working out in the gym, I'm going to cut quick. But when something important comes, I'm going to let it sit and I'm going to let you soak it up. In this Bing Bang Lazy Town thing, I counted. It was every 2 seconds maximum they would shift points of view or the scene. The kid would never have a moment to absorb what was happening. It was full sensory overload. I could feel myself getting dumber by the second.
Yet the brain processes trillions of bits of information every single day, but only is cognitive of millions. I believe it's 5 billion bits of information that are downloaded into the subconscious mind versus the 5 million bits of information that we can actually process. So it does go into the subconscious mind. Everything. You cannot have an experience. You cannot listen to something.
We process it, but we're not aware. What's what I'm looking for?
You cannot cognitively process. So you're not recognizing it's back there.
It's in the subconscious.
It's in the subconscious mind, but you're not consciously recognize it. But there's no situation, no experience that you can possibly have without it becoming a piece of who you are. Like you say, sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me. Yes, they freaking will.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you're not looking at the person. You've heard that, and it plants a seed, and it starts to make you who you are unless you pluck that seed out as if it was a weed.
What did you say? Oh, here's a great example. You said something about my feet. And you call them boats, I think is what you call them.
Oh my gosh. I love my husband's huge hands and huge feet. And he's working on becoming a more tidy person, but sometimes shoes are left places. And seriously, like, I don't want to be like critical because I know that it makes you sad. So like Mia or me, like we walk and we expect things to be put away, but the shoe is there and we'll like face plant. Like
well, if it's dark and you walk through the house and I leave my DCs laying around or something like that.
So they're huge because this man is
size
like,
13.
He is giant. And I said, oh my gosh, every time you leave your shoes out, it's like tripping over a boat. And I thought that he would be like, yeah, my big feet, baby. And he's like, oh, that actually that made me feel kind of bad, honey. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, and here's why. Like, you know, when I was young, I didn't realize that big hands and big feet meant I was going to be 6'3" and a massive giant, and that's something to be proud of now. When I was young, I got teased all the time because, like, I was like a puppy dog where they get the big paws and they trip all over themselves. That was me in junior high.
Or have you ever like seen Bozo the Clown?
I was 5'10". Go fuck yourself. I was 5'10", maybe, and I had a size 12 foot, giant. And people just like, dude, you're fucking boats, Gabe.
He'll grow
you got
into
boats
his
for feet. And it's all. And to this day, I remember that, and it has this weird little negative effect on me. If somebody says boats for feet, I instantly turtle shell.
See,
like I pull back and I turtle shell. It's not outward; it's inward, and I'm able to deflect it, but it still sticks with me in my head. I've never been able to totally get rid of that.
Mia heard something negative about freckles, and everybody talks about her freckles. I had freckles when I was a little girl too. And people will stop me and be like, oh my gosh, your child, Mia, your freckles are so beautiful. And she didn't want to have freckles for like the longest time because she heard somebody say that they didn't like their freckles. It was in a book or something. But long story short, belief systems, those things that are programmed in our brains throughout the entire course of our life, but a lot of the stuff happens before the age of 6.
And that we truly latch onto as core beliefs.
And let me give you an example of that. Is your dad somebody who was never around, never involved with a family because he was out working so hard? Well, the belief, if let's say you're a man, the belief is that you have to work really, 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 really hard to provide for a family. That's BS. You do have to put in the work.
You see me with my eyes looking at you like
you do have to put in the work.
There's work to be done. You don't got to dig a ditch.
Another thing.
Just blow right on by.
So, I'm talking about several things.
Yep.
Another thing is religion. Like the God that I know is a loving, awesome creator that I feel divinely led by and loved by. But I was raised believing in a God that was looking at me in condemnation and judging me and looking for the thing that I was doing wrong and was my skirt too short. What about fitness?
Wait a second. So tell everybody about that. Like, tell them how when you grew up, you were always thinking that you were sinning and being judged, and other people were looking at you and judging you based on all these things and how good of a Christian you were or weren't?
Well, we all have those kind of things that we grow up with. Things that make us feel like we're not enough. Another thing is fitness. What did you see displayed for you before the age of 6? Were your parents constantly yo-yo dieting? Were they talking about how pissed off they were that they were a week into Weight Watchers and they didn't lose any weight? Were they constantly trying diet fads? Was it Slim Fast in your house all the time? Was it MetaFast in the house all the time? What was your experience? Is fitness difficult? Like, what is the BS that's in your brain? Think about those systems. Think about these beliefs that you have in your system and ask yourself, are these things that I truly want to believe and do believe? Or is this BS?
So here's something I learned. And it happened all the way up until I was 16, but it happened early on in life. My dad's a wonderful person. He works his ass off. And I think they raised me right. They did great. But there are things about my dad that, not that I wish that he had done differently, but there's things about him, like we would go on a family trip and it was like hell trying to pack up the car. Like, it was frustrating for him. He would get hot and sweaty and get frustrated, and they just get mad, and everybody's quiet and feeling really weird, and everybody's like, "Oh no!" And
then there would be somebody that gets in a huff and walk away.
The simplest thing is like making a family dinner. It's hot, so my dad gets agitated when it gets hot and sweaty, and I get it. I get that. Or if something doesn't go his way, he gets frustrated, and it affects my mom, who then it's like the dad's mad at the mom's mad at the kids kick the dogs. And so I learned my behavior mimicked that when I was a young adult. It was, if I got hot, nothing went my way, and I had to make sure everybody knew that I was uncomfortable or hungry, tired
or in pain,
or I had a long day at work. I had to make sure everybody knew that, and that I needed some special treatment or get the fuck out of my way, because I'm not feeling good right now, and I'm going to mow through people that are in my way because I'm not feeling good. And that was a byproduct of how I was raised. That was hard coded in me, so to speak. It was a program that my brain learned and mimicked.
And then my system of living was kind of like the doormat. And my parents are always like, okay, for Jesus, we will let them, trash talk us and stomp all over us and not pay us and whatever it is, because we'll do it for Jesus.
Oh yeah. What was it that your parents told you? Like, better to be at peace with all men than, whatever, than you got taken advantage of so much. Like, I watched you get taken advantage of.
Dental work. I remember getting really bad dental work, but because we wanted to which I mean, in essence, it's beautiful.
Fucked up your dental surgery. Fucked it up hardcore. To the point where 10 years later, you were still in pain, but you had been programmed by your parents so hardcore growing up that you weren't supposed to go back and have conflict and say, look, you did it wrong. I need my money back and I need you to fix it. Or I need to go to somebody else. So you need to give me my money back for this.
Well, it's like, let's just be cool about this. Let's just let it go. And I think that my parents were really coming from a place of love.
Totally.
They're the most loving, generous, giving, forgiving. And I love that they made me the girl that never holds a grudge. But I had become a non-confrontational doormat. So Gabe would be freaking out, and I'd be like, "Oh, would you also like to kick me?"
Could I make you some food?
And then Gabe taught me. He's like, "Stop letting people walk all over you." He's like, make that freaking person pay.
What was that?
You get them on the phone. It was when I owned my gym, and there were people that needed to pay, and I was still taking them.
They kept coming in for training sessions.
We're talk to them, and you're like, you talk to them, and I'm like, oh no, it's okay. He dials the phone and hands it to me, and I was like,
need to figure this out
so much right now. And he's kind of raised me like that. I've been with him since I was 16, so he's put me in these situations over and over and over again, and he made me. He was a huge part of what made me the powerful person that I always was, but never knew I was. So taught me to be that loving, forgiving, generous person with power. And so when I became that way, I was like, hey, guess what? You're hot, but you don't got to be a jerk. You're overworked,
talking about me now.
You're tired, but you don't got to be a jerk.
You got
and
be a
so
dick.
In essence, we know that the two of us, we know that the other person has been sent to help us evolve. to help us grow because we are exact opposites.
So you were programmed one way, but you were
Yes.
able to reprogram your mind and begin a whole new subroutine, so to speak. And so you hacked your mind.
And you learned to be a communicator, a tremendous
terrible
problem
communicator.
solver. I don't know how to say, I don't want to say like laying down yourself, but you do. I've seen you humble yourself so many times in order to create a place of peace in our marriage.
Well, okay, so here's something that a lot of the guys out there can relate to. When I talk about getting angry, I mean, you guys know what it's like to have your blood boil. Every male knows that feeling because we have a much higher testosterone ratio than females do. And so it's very rare. I mean, you've been through it. You felt it. Yeah, I mean, I've seen you get really upset once, maybe twice. I literally can count it on my
One of the
hand.
time I had taken T-Volve.
Yeah, you took some T-Volve and you threw a vacuum cleaner down the stairs.
That was bad.
But
3 days on
you
T-Volve.
you can relate because you
I
felt
know.
you felt the blood pressure rise,
Yes.
your body gets warm, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like, you just want to fucking hurt something, and then everything is bad from that point on. So, guys, I had to literally reprogram my brain. I'm gonna tell you guys how to do this shortly, but I had to reprogram my brain, and every time I would look for those signals, I realized one of the first steps is recognizing what's happening. And even though this isn't the main bullet points we're going to be talking about tonight, this is kind of like a sub bullet point that I think is really important. In order to get out of your current cycle, you got to break that cycle. And to even realize there's a cycle, you have to recognize that. You have to know, oh my gosh, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. That's what computers do. They run the same programs over and over and over again because that's what that's what it is. It's
Don't
a program.
they do that? Like I've never been to Alcoholics Anonymous, but don't they stand up and say, "Hi, I'm
Yes.
John Smith,
And I'm an alcoholic." Yeah.
Like you have to
12-step
admit
program.
that there's something that's going on.
Yeah,
that needs
it's not
changing.
not that you have to admit it, you have to recognize it. I guess you're right. Admit, recognize, same thing. But you have to literally see the pattern. So I would see the pattern where I would get angry, and the same thing would cause me to get angry, whether it was something that Priscilla did or a way that she looked at me that I was mistaking for something else. So I was misinterpreting the situation, and I would be like, the fuck's going on here? And I get all upset, and it could be anything. It could be something at work, and I feel my blood boiling. As soon as I would feel my blood boiling, I would go, okay, it's happening again. What did I do last time? And whatever it was I did last time, I made sure I'm like, I got to do something totally different to completely stray the course so that I don't do it again. And I learned to either say, hey, babe, I love you. I'm going to go take a quick walk. I care about what you're saying. So I wanted to let Priscilla know, or the other person know. So basically, it was really you and me because I learned this because of you, because of who you are and how sweet you are, that I was, out of line. I would tell you, I care about what you're saying, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm going to go for a walk. So I would go for a walk. I'd step outside.
And the rule is no cars, no motorcycles, but we separate for a specific period of time for the purpose of restoration.
No motorcycle, but a car is okay if I'm calm. If I'm mad, I don't get in the car and drive. If I'm upset and raging, I definitely do not hop on the bike. But the point
And
is,
studies
you
show
have to
that
get
when you're raging, when you're mad, it is as dangerous as being intoxicated.
Okay, so
behind
you're just,
any
you're just
vehicle.
saying that to make sure I understand that. I get it.
Actually, you misinterpreted that.
Here we go. My blood is starting to fucking boil.
It's funny.
I'm gonna
Every time
punch you
we're
in the
on
teeth.
a podcast,
You're within my
I think about
reach.
the
I could
fake.
totally
I
punch
think
you in the
about the
teeth.
faces of the people that we're talking about, and I'm like, if there's anything that we know that we could spare them.
That's the whole idea why we're
And
sidebarring
I
here.
just, there was one time where Gabe and I had a heated discussion, and we don't argue and yell in the traditional way. We will talk tactfully and as politely as possible until we need to separate for a time. And he said, sweetheart, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to grab a few things. And I just had a knot in my stomach. I'm like, he should not be going. It was like 5 minutes up the street. And I'm sitting there at my computer, typing away. And I hear the ambulance. And I knew that it was going for my husband. I was correct. Just don't freaking get in the car.
Well,
when you are mad,
to further
don't get in the
explain
car.
that story, that's when
or when you're in that
thought
situation.
I was having a heart attack in Safeway.
Yep.
My arm went numb, and then my chest clamped, and I had a 3-day stay in the hospital. 2-day, what was it?
3
Where
days.
They found that arrhythmia. Yeah.
3 days.
So the point is, guys,
That was actually kind of a nice little vacation, wasn't it?
Not really. Well, actually, when I jailbroke with the EKG leads on me, and I'm
Okay,
like,
that
"Fuck
was
this shit.
hilarious.
I'm going to the damn cafeteria. If you look back on my IG, guys, just scroll down my
So
IG.
funny.
You'll see a picture of me like with a beanie on, and I've got all the 12-point EKG leads hooked up to me still, and I've got like the little battery pack. I basically like snuck out of my bed. And I walked right by the front desk where all the nurses are, and they're like, sir, where are you going? I just walked through the door. I'm like, I'm going to the fucking cafeteria. I'm getting food.
But you don't understand. Like, I had to be his accomplice because he gets up and I'm like, what are you doing, honey? Like, I'm sleeping in his hospital bed next to him for 3 days. We shared, you know how big my husband is. We shared this hospital bed. And he gets up and he starts unhooking his leads. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going home. I'm like, why? And he's like, I want pancakes. I'm like, baby, you just had a major heart exploratory surgery. Like, get back into bed. So the boy won't get back in bed. And I said, listen, if I help you unhook and we just tuck one of your monitors into your pants, I will help you go down to the cafeteria and we will get you pancakes. And so I had to be like his accomplice, and I helped him break out of jail. And we got into the, what is that thing called? The elevator.
Oh, on the way back.
And we're like being all quiet and like looking around because we're both in like people clothes and kind of looking around.
Well, and then this lady gets on in like hospital uniform thing.
And we're like, hello. Gabe's like, hello. Little miniature flinch and all these wires come out. And she's like, oh my gosh. And we're like, oh my gosh. And we look at her tag. It says
hospital manager or something like that. She was like the administrator of the hospital. And we totally jailbroken, and she's just like, I totally didn't see this. I'm like, no, you didn't. We'll see you next time.
We're like, this never happened. Goodbye now.
But okay, so the point is, I would separate myself from the energy that was in the house so I could calm down and coolly address the situation. And as soon as you're far enough apart, when your energies are separated, and remember, we've talked about this before, your EMF field, your electromagnetic field that your brain puts out and your heart puts out, they can be measured with very fine instruments for miles away, I believe.
I know up to a mile.
Up to a mile. Okay.
But I don't know the exact numbers. I know
the point is
Institute of
you
Noetic
have to be
Sciences.
far enough away to be able to assess the situation. Once I was far enough away, I could look back and go, okay, what was said, and does it really matter? Of course not. And you guys know that. Like when you get away and you cool down, you're like, fuck, dude, this sucks. I just want to be over. And I would do that. I'm like, okay, who fucking cares? Whatever I'm mad at right now really doesn't fucking matter. So I'm just going to go back, take a deep breath, say I'm sorry. Whether I was right, wrong, or whatever, does it really fucking matter? No, because the only thing that matters is being happy. And I don't want to spend another moment in negativity. And we'll talk about that later. But that's a little tip.
I do want to touch on that before you go too far away from it. And it leads us into our next point. Living in gratitude.
Right, that's not the next
point. And the reason, but we can...
You skipped the point.
But we can circle back around.
Well...
Because living in gratitude is...
You can't just skip around. You can't break the rules.
So...
I make the fucking rules here.
Oh my gosh. So...
I'm going to go for a walk, guys. I'll be right back.
So living in gratitude is an incredible way to get back into the vortex. And the vortex is that happy place where all things are sucked into. There is no reconciliation in a disagreement outside the vortex. And we need to do something on that sometime. But we can get back to...
Living on gratitude. I know you want to go there, but I want to circle back because I think it's really important that we go in the order that I have it on the whiteboard. And here's the reason is because we're talking about hacking the brain, and we're talking about your belief systems, basically your operating system that you acquire by the time that you are 6 years old. That are basic. It becomes hard coded into your brain. This is how you act. This is how everything is. This is your core beliefs, and you grow up like that. And this is your life. And you're in your you got to work 24/7. You got to work your 9 to 5, your 8 to 5. You got to commute. That's what you do. You go to work. You go to bed. You go to sleep. You be a good dad. You get your retirement. You retire when you're 60 or 65.
You're
live
fat
off Social
and
Security.
It's hard.
That too. Yes, you're overweight. You're big bone.
God hates you and is judging you and waiting for the next wrong thing for you to do.
All these fucking things are hard coded into your brain now, but you can upgrade. You can run. Think about this, guys.
Doing like Beyonce right now.
It's like upgrading with you get a new piece of hardware. Actually, you're not changing hardware. You're just reprogramming your computer, and what you're doing is you're realizing a couple of things. You have to consciously realize that you don't have to run by these old operating system rules.
For example, your life is not predetermined. You have been created by a creator to be a creator of your own life. You choose. You pick with your mind what you want, and you decide your outcome. Number one of the new mode.
There is no fate, but that what we make. Said Akana.
Done and done.
That was if Howard was here, he'd be like, "Oh, doing his Arnold impression."
I can't even
that was
step
from
to
Terminator.
that.
The point is, we fully subscribe to the fact and the theory that you create your own destiny. You can choose to believe that your path has already been set and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to live in this shitty house all my life. I'm going to have this shitty job. I'm going to be fat all my life because that's what I was given. Or I only have enough money to buy top ramen, so that's what I'm going to do every single week until I fucking die.
And
Wrong.
that's why you become a victim of circumstance and you start to blame life for being what it is. And you are not taking responsibility for your life. You're saying, oh, why does God do this to me? Or why am I under spiritual attack? Like, you are attacking yourself so much of the time.
How do you begin loading this new program into your brain? You begin by changing your thought processes. You begin by changing your vibrational state from a low vibrating state to a high vibrational state. And this is where gratitude comes in. And sorry to circle back, but I think that helps explain it. Gratitude. When you live in gratitude, you change the vibrational state of the molecules, your molecular structure, the molecules in your body.
So the vibrations come in levels, and the vibrations are determined by certain emotions. So the highest vibrating thought that you could possibly have is love and gratitude.
Correct.
The
And
lowest vibrational is, I believe it's grief, not grief.
No,
Guilt.
guilt. Yes, I couldn't think of the word. It's total brain fart. Guilt. And just so anybody that isn't aware, when we talk about vibrations, science has shown that everything obviously is created from a molecular level. All things are created by molecules or with molecules, and even smaller parts like protons, neutrons, quarks that have up quark and down quark, and then all
And
these
even
tiny little
stuff that's
particles.
smaller than that we
The
never
point
learned in
is,
college because it's...
they vibrate, and they vibrate at different frequencies. So much so that we have shown, actually, we've talked about Dr. Emoto before, and how water can be directly affected by the words that you speak, whether they're positive or negative.
And that is in our mindset podcast, number 6.
I think it was 6. It was the Mindset podcast, but look him up. It's Dr. Emoto, Emoto, and he did an experiment, did multiple experiments. One was on rice and the other was on water and crystals. I'm going to talk about it very briefly. We've talked about it before, but it's important for this conversation because they did experiments where they would say harsh things to a glass of water or a water sample, basically. Just terrible things. And they'd freeze it right away. And then they'd say loving things, things full of gratitude, things full of love. Thank you, I love you, and really mean it to this water sample. They'd freeze it right away. The ones that they spoke lovingly to, when they looked at it under a microscope, they formed these beautiful configuration of ice crystals, just easily recognizable geometric shapes that were beautiful. The other ones that were spoken negative to, they did not form any type of recognizable geometric shape in the ice crystal. It was pure chaos. So that should say something to you guys about this vibrational state. Living in a state of gratitude will raise your vibrational state and will allow your frontal cortex to open, and therefore you will be able to reprogram your mind. And I'm going to get there. This is just step 1. This is like priming the operating system. It's like wiping out your hard drive and starting fresh.
And there's a couple of practical ways that you can include this into your life.
Living in gratitude?
Living in gratitude. One, if you wake up in a bad mood, refuse to get out of bed without thinking about 3 reasons that you're grateful. It will turn your day around.
Or even start your day that way, no matter if you wake up in a bad mood or not. We're going to set up the practice of living in gratitude, the first thing you do when you get up, whether it's you have your cup of coffee or just get out of bed, set aside a moment to go sit and say 3 things that you're grateful for.
But you don't even have to get out of bed.
Or don't. Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll lay in bed and I'll be like, I don't want to be a homeschool mom today. And I just want to go sit on the beach or get a massage or something. And I see that beam of light coming through my window and I'm overcome with gratitude. For example, And if you really want to take this to the next level, do it before you go to sleep too.
Do you remember when we had our very first condo on Camino Capistrano?
How could I forget? It was a basement.
In Dana Point. We purchased our first condo. It was a 1-bedroom, and it was literally subterranean. So I don't know how they did this complex. You had the first floor, you had the second floor, and then the bottom floor, you had to go down a set of stairs. And your patio, like if I stood up straight, the walkway was at my eye level. So we never had sunlight in our little Camino Capistrano 1-bedroom condo.
And when people walk by, we saw everybody's butt.
We did. We saw butt.
We didn't
feet.
know people by faces. We're just like, there's that butt.
And there's that dog pissing again. But the point is, when you see that ray of sunshine, I do the same thing. I'm like, I'm so grateful that we have sunlight. I'm so grateful that I have a house.
And our
not a
bedroom
condo.
faces east, so we get to see the sunrise every single morning from our
The
bedroom.
sun comes in and wakes us up every morning. And I'm so grateful for the warmth. I'm grateful for the house that I live in. I could name a million things. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe, the coffee that I'm drinking right now, how good it smells. Because I've been without coffee and it sucks. And as simple as that sounds, guys, it's these little tiny things that will change your thought process and that will allow you to open that frontal cortex and allow you to have a higher vibrational state.
And if you're new to this and you don't have a lot of things that you're feeling grateful for, because I've been in that negative state where you're like, I cannot think of one freaking thing that makes me happy. Think of one thing. There is one thing. What is your favorite thing to drink? Do you like ice water, for goodness sakes? And think about it intensely and get every single one of your senses involved. How does it look? How does it smell? How does it taste? What does it sound like? How does it feel? Get every single sense involved in the exploration of this thing that you're grateful for.
How about this? And this is what I'm sure everybody can relate to, is when you're having an argument with your significant other. And at that point in time, you just want to throw that person out a window.
Choke or punch?
Choke or punch. What is it? And you're so pissed off at the other person and you got that weird, you're just staring each other off and it's silent. We've been there. Like last year was really stressful for us with the kickoff on Body Spartan, all the crazy shit that happened with the family. Like there's a lot of shit that happened. And Priscilla and I had a couple of ups and downs, but we found a system that works, and it has to do with gratitude.
Was this a year ago or 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years
been 2
ago.
years.
Because when I shared this last week, I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like a lifetime ago. But it freaking worked.
It
I
works.
love this.
And so what one of us would recognize that we are in that state where we just both like just literally arguing and fuming, and we would walk over to the other person and we would say 3 things that we were grateful for about the other person.
Or
I'm
we
grateful
would go
that you,
every other.
I'm grateful that you take the time to do my laundry.
I'm grateful that you make my coffee in the morning. And it's a badass cup of coffee. It's so good.
And I'm grateful that you stay home and homeschool Mia so that she can have the best education. Things like that, guys. You know, we're getting into it right now.
Wait, let's just do our 3.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm so grateful that you have good hygiene. You always smell good and you take such good care of yourself.
I'm really grateful that you're not a nose picker. In
But
front of
they
me.
should be real things. What he doesn't know.
So
won't
that
kill him.
begins, living in gratitude begins the process of reprogramming. Now, the next thing, item number 2 for reprogram, now that you're starting to live in gratitude and you're getting up in the morning, you're saying your 3 things you're grateful for, or you know, you're the middle of your day, you're thinking about things you're grateful for. This will change your entire day. Number 2, I have a challenge for you. It's called the Positivity Challenge. To reach the next level, you have to be happy. You have to be positive. And this sounds very esoteric, almost very hippie, but this is the shit that works. And this is the shit that people like Jim Carrey will tell you that works. Denzel Washington, The Rock. I'm talking about major celebrities that have made it, very highly successful people. Tony Robbins. Why can I not think of Tony Robbins? Oh my gosh. Warren Buffett. That's what I'm trying to think of. Tony Robbins' mentor, Warren Buffett.
And Jim Rohn.
They will all tell you, oh, what did Trump call it? Positive stamina. That's right. Of all the people that said it, it was Trump. Positive stamina.
Vishen Lakhiani.
Well, Vishen Lakhiani. So if you guys need another person to listen to that has some very highly motivational abilities, Vishen, Vishen Lakhiani. He's the founder of a company called Mind Valley. And he actually coined this, well, didn't coin this term, but brought it to our attention in one of his seminars. And it's about basically not allowing negative thoughts into your head. So the second that a negative thought appears in your head, whether you're driving and somebody cuts you off, you're like, fuck you, man. What the fuck's your problem? Let it go. Let it go. Think of something you're grateful for.
You're not sitting there judging your thought. You're not like, oh, I don't want to be that kind of person. You're literally, it's like somebody that shows up at your door where you're like, no, thank you. And then they walk away and you let something else in.
Or another way to look at it is that the second it enters your brain, you just take it and you toss it. And you don't just toss it out the window. You don't boomerang it so it comes back later. You literally have to completely let go of it. It's this whole parallel dimension thing where it's like, not this dimension. Like you're sending it to the other dimension.
This sounds crazy, but we literally do this and it literally works. Like we send things to parallel universes. We're like, okay,
well,
no, thank you.
I have a theory on that where I believe that there's major turning points in our life. And everybody has probably experienced this where we have choices to make. And these are major life choices. And for some reason, I feel like I'm choosing the right ones this time around. But I've had this feeling of deja vu more than once. And one of the times I do with Body Spartan, whether it was going to continue or not. And I felt like I'd been on this path. It was like lightning fucking hitting me.
And he says out loud to me, oh my gosh, I've been here before.
I knew I'd been there before. It's crazy. And whether it is a past life, whether it's a parallel dimension me or whatever it was.
And again, we are not promoting any of that. We don't know.
Nobody knows. There's no scientific proof on any of this, but it's just one of those gut feelings where it's like, fuck, this is deja vu. I've been here. And my theory on that was that I chose to go one direction. And it's like choose your own adventure. Remember those books where you would choose your own adventure and lead you down a different path? But the other part of me that made that choice, that I feel like it still happened, but it went in a different dimension. That's just my own. I know it sounds crazy,
but
guys,
almost
but that's
kind of
thing.
like now that we're having the conversation, I totally get it. It's as if you slip out of your like ego, out of your selfness, and you rise above and you're looking at the two directions that you could choose.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're seeing, dude, that's what it is. It's like a foresight. It's like the spirit. It's like the real Gabe, the inner Gabe connecting to the spirit and being able to see in a bird's eye view.
Literally an out of body experience.
Do you freaking have chills right now? Because I just have never thought of it like that before.
No, because I've understood that. This is how I
But
felt.
you're like,
you
did
literally have
this
an out of body
really
experience, and you see yourself choosing both paths. And I have this visual of standing in a grassy field somewhere with a very beaten dirt road that comes to a fork, and one goes left and one goes right, and there's trees surrounding both of them, and I choose right instead of going left. That's what I did that day.
That's so interesting.
It's crazy, but the point here, guys, is that I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you for a week. So I want to challenge you for a week because we're going to reprogram your brain. We're going to hack your brain. Do some it's called neurohacking is what we're actually talking about here. I'm challenging you for a week to not say anything negative. Let no negative words come out of your mouth.
So choose positive words.
To let no negative words come out of your mouth. I know what you're doing there. You're reprogram. You're using the right language. Positive words out of your mouth only. Positive words on social media only. And along with that too, part two of this is that you have to guard what comes into your mind. So the things that you're listening to, the things that are said to you, the people that you are spending the most time with, and we've said this before, the 5 people that you spend the most time with are a cumulative sum of who you are. Jim Rohn said that. And he's very, 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 very true. You are the company that you keep. Now, in this day and age, in this era of our lives, we spend more time on social media than with actual people. We spend more time on the phone than with actual people. So you need to control that. I started, and I still do this. I'll go through my feed once a day because I do it for social media purposes, for business. And I also like to see what a lot of my fans are doing, like a lot of people that are Body Spartan fans. I'm very curious because I add a lot of people on my personal page that are Body Spartan fans. But here's what I do. The second I see someone bitching, moaning, whining, talking bad about the president, whether it's your president or not, I want to get into politics. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't want to know that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't care because honestly, I don't watch.
Stop that smut.
I don't watch media. I don't watch TV. I don't give a fuck about politics right now. All it does, in my personal opinion, well, it's not my personal opinion, but all TV and media outlets are filtered. It's exactly what they, and I'm doing the Dr. Evil quote thing here, they, evil henchmen turning knobs in the background furiously,
but
want you to know. The media is totally filtered to have you live in fear. Because if you live in fear, you are easily controlled.
And
So-
your frontal cortex is blocked, which blocks your
Yes.
creativity, which blocks your connectivity to
So
spirit.
if
which
you're
makes
not
you dumb.
living in a positive vibrating state, if you're not living in a high vibrational state, you can't think for yourself, and you're going to go back to those old subroutines. So get rid of those fucking people. Because honestly, guys, let's think about this. People on social media, they're not your friends. And I got to point this out. This happened to me today. There's a guy who, and I try to get back to all the people that message me. I really do. Sometimes it takes me 3 months. 'Cause I get so fucking many messages on Facebook Messenger alone. It's taken, actually, there's some that are like 6 months old that I haven't even got to yet. And I intend to get to them. But I specifically responded to this one guy, said something positive to him, and then he wanted to strike up a conversation with me. I'm like, oh, cool, man, but I don't really have time to strike up conversations with people that I don't know. And I will see him, and I feel like he needs a little more attention than the average person. I can tell that he's going through some things. And so I'll try to go out of my way when I'm going through the messages and like, oh, this guy messaged me again. And I'll say, hey, man, sorry it took so long to get back to you. Glad things are going good. They're like one-liners. Well, apparently he's been messaging me, and I don't have notifications on my phone when I get Facebook Messenger on purpose because it would just go nonstop. And I saw one today when I opened up Messenger. It's the first one on there. It was the same guy. He's like, are you mad at me, bro? And all I can think to myself was, man, I don't know you. I don't know you. We've never met. We've had 3 conversations in messaging. And while you may be a fan, and I don't want to ever hurt anybody's feelings, I'm like, I don't know you. I have no idea what you stand for, who you are. I'm pretty sure that you're not the kind of person I would have in my circle of 5. Although I want to do everything possible to reach out and help people and bring them up. That's what we do. We help people. We bring them up. What I'm saying is that the people on social media, they're really not your friends. And so unfriending someone, see ya. Or just unfollow. If you're one of those guys, you can unfollow without them even knowing too. And that's what I did for the longest time. I unfollowed. Now I'm unfriending. I'm like, I don't care.
Being peanut butter and jelly, I definitely see the other side of things because I have connected to so many people on social media and have become deep friends with them and have seen them in person and have seen transformations in their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have too. And so with the positivity challenge, I want you to think of the number one thing that sets you into a negative vibration every single day. I'm guaranteeing you that it is that person at work that you walk by them and they're like, oh, somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Or like, or maybe it's that neighbor that like parks a little bit too close and you cannot get into your driveway, and it happens every single freaking day. And they leave their Snickers wrapper like right in front of your house. There's going to be that person.
Or the guy that lives downstairs in after you bought your second condo and you don't have air conditioning and he smokes cigarettes like a chain smoker and takes oxycodone every single day and pretend talks on the phone for 24 hours a day and is really loud.
But we love
I really love you, Jerry.
And then I would go out and water the plants and he'd have to go inside.
Oh, dude. So the upstairs condos in our second condo in San Clemente, which is in Southern California, South Orange County, about 10 minutes south of Laguna Beach. The upstairs condos didn't have a drainage system on them, so we would like water our flowers out on our patio. It's our patio. We own the place. I'm gonna water my damn flowers.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Jerry. But all the water would drip down onto his patio, and he had chairs out there and stuff. And
but it would like drip for a good 45 minutes, and he could not smoke out there. And then we'd go outside and we eat a nice breakfast, and like it would dry up again, and he'd come out smoking like a chimney.
So your challenge, you're saying, think of that one thing that drives you nuts.
Think of that one thing that drives you nuts. It's probably a human being that's in your life, and this is what I want you to think about with the positivity challenge. If that is your area of difficulty, see that the other person is you. Whatever you are irritated about that person, there is an element in yourself that you can understand where they're coming from. And if you see people through eyes of compassion, there's nobody on the face of this planet that you will not love. And you will start to feel that positive vibration well up in you to the point of tears of gratitude when you see that person. Another thing that you can do in regards to people that are pissing you off and tempting you into a negative vibration, 3 reasons that you're grateful for them. Because I guarantee you, there are reasons that you are grateful for this person in your life.
I mean, this gratefulness thing goes so far that I'm going to use Vishen Lakhiani as an example again with Mind Valley. he did this thing called the gratitude log, where his entire company, which is giant, he would have them log on every single morning and write something that they're gratitude or something they're grateful for on this. They created a website just for the company so people could go on there and write what they were grateful for. And he would see exactly what his team members were grateful for. And it caused explosive growth in his company. So that's number 3, guys. Positivity challenge is number 3. Finally, the other way to reprogram your mind, guys, is through visualization. So we've talked about the operating system. We've talked about getting a new program, but how do you prep the computer? How do we prep your brain? How do we hack your brain and prepare it? You got to live in gratitude. You got to change your vibrational state by living in positivity. And now you need to do visualization. Visualization is key, and you can do that through meditation, or you can sit there and do what I do with Priscilla. And I remember this huge explosive growth happened a couple years ago. We would, at least once a week on date night, we would sit down and we start every date night because we didn't have a babysitter. Or even if we did, if Mia was at my parents' house or your parents' house, we would sit down and we would light some candles, put on some very quiet, like meditational style music, and we would do a visualization session. We had no training on this whatsoever. We just sat down. We were in comfortable clothes, whether it was like sweats or t-shirts or whatever, and we would breathe. We would breathe together. We would match our breathing. And then we would start doing these visualizations with one another, where either Priscilla would take me through one or I would take her through one, and basically look at what it was that we wanted a year from now, 5 years from now. We would see exactly what we wanted. Just like the episode 17, the previous podcast, we talked about setting your goals and writing them down. Now you take those same goals, your 30-day goal, your 3-month goal, your 6-month goal, your 12-month goal, and your 3 to 5 year goal, and you actually visualize those. You see them. You go through and you walk through what it's like to have the body that you've always dreamed of, that you've lost 20 pounds or you've gained 15 pounds of muscle and you're losing body fat at the same time. What the shirts feel like that you're wearing, how your clothes fit, what it feels like to be in your new job or have your new promotion or step out into the unknown and start your own business. How many people do you have working for you? What are their names? What do they look like? What are they doing for you? You have to clearly be able to see this.
And I was so incredibly against making this a point at the very end, just because this is an episode in and of itself. It is so in depth, and we have stories that would freaking blow your mind. We know that there is so much beyond this physical plane. And to get into the idea of visualization and meditation, we really need a whole freaking year to discuss it, but we will set aside a podcast. There's an awesome visualization that will take you to the next level on the Rick Bassman podcast, number 12, I believe it is.
I don't remember what episode number it was.
And as far as meditation, it's kind of a meditation and visualization together for anybody that feels really stuck in their life.
Well, without skirting over it, we're not going to go into the techniques and everything, but I mean, I gave you the basic technique, but you have to be able to smell it. You have to be able to feel it. You have to use all your senses in this visualization and really see yourself there. But the important part about it is that it changed our lives. It changed who I was. It changed who you were. And I remember we talked about the vortex. And the vortex is that high vibrating state where everything that you want and desire is coming to you. Everything is happening. The universe is opening its doors, and you're a magnet for the things that you have been dreaming of, the things that you want in your heart. That's the vortex. When you're in the vortex, shit happens, guys. And I could literally, when I was in the vortex, I could feel my frontal lobe of my brain working. It's like it's almost like a buzzing in the front of your brain. It doesn't hurt. It's not painful.
And it
it's
does
not clouding.
Feel that way to me. I feel it more in my heart. It's like a surge of energy. It's like between my heart and like right below my heart in like the top of my stomach part. And I feel it like a ray of light coming out of me, but it's the same exact thing.
I think everybody may have a different experience with it, a personal experience, but my personal experience when I'm in the vortex is literally like I can see through my mind's eye. When we talk about the mind's eye, we talk about the third eye, which is basically your pineal gland. And it is, it's crazy. It's been shown to send colors to your brain, like all these crazy colors, and there's no way for your brain to pick that up. Because there's no visual, there is a way for your brain to pick it, but there's no visual optical input. The pineal gland sends signals to your brain. It sees. It's the third eye, guys. It's amazing. You should do some research on the pineal gland.
And again, there have been times that I'm meditating where I actually see these colors.
Yeah.
It is so weird.
Well,
and there's no way to
do.
make that up.
A lot of people do.
I didn't know it. I had to research it after it occurred a few times. I was like, this is crazy. What is going on?
It's like me in the astral projection when I didn't know what the fuck I was doing and I ended up in the star field. Look up the Starfield, guys, in astral projection.
And what's
I have that
crazy
experience.
is within hours, the same exact thing happened to me. And I was on a flight to Texas. And
I was on the flight to Texas.
You were on the flight to Texas. And then I was flying somewhere else.
I don't remember where you're flying, but yeah, and that's a whole different
so
story.
Weird. Anyways.
But what I'm saying is that the vortex, I could literally, through my mind's eye, I could see a very clear path in front of me. And it was like the Red Sea would part. And everything on the outside that my vortex was repelling, it looked like I was looking through water and seeing things that I didn't want, and I was beelining towards my destiny, towards the path I was supposed to be following, and the things that I needed were being brought into that path. They were magnetically being drawn into the path of my vortex. And when you're in the vortex, I swear you feel that. Priscilla, I know you can relate to that. You felt something very similar.
It feels different. I feel it in a different spot of my body, but it's like this feeling of certainty and power.
Certainty,
and
that's definitely
everything good just like throws itself at you.
Yes.
But the thing is, we're not beautiful snowflakes, you guys. We are all created and designed to be able to have this experience. And you can grow up being physically abused and destroyed. Like, well, of course you are, darling. I tell him that every day. But Luke Hawks, for example, he was just abused so bad as a kid, just had the most gnarly, horrible upbringing.
Was that podcast number 4, I think?
Luke Hawks.
Yeah.
He is a power piece. The man is compassionate. He is loving. He is generous.
One of the most caring people I know.
He is driven beyond belief. And he has taken those belief systems that he grew up with, and he's completely turned them around and turned them into something so good. So if there's something that you grew up with, something you grew up believing, something that's hindering you, understand that you can choose to upload a new system.
So take these steps on how to hack your brain. Start by understanding that there is a program. You can reprogram that program. You can put completely new software into your brain. But to do that, you have to live in gratitude. You have to start every single day in gratitude. You have to take the positivity challenge.
And see.
Only let positive things come out of your mouth.
And see that the other person is you.
See the other person. Repel anything negative that's coming into your life. Consciously remove the negative things from your life, whether it's people on social media. Turning off the fucking TV, guys. There's nothing good about TV. Just turn it the fuck off. See that the other person is you, just like you said. Have compassion. Walk a mile in their shoes. Who the fuck knows what's going on in that person's day? I guarantee that if they are in a negative state, they don't know what you know. They don't know the keys that you know. And if they do know the keys that we're giving you, maybe they slipped and fallen. Maybe they need some help. So think about that, guys.
And there's a difference between knowing them and actually incorporating them into your life. You can listen to this and you can walk away and you can be the same person that you were. Or you can listen to this and drink it into your freaking soul and decide that tomorrow is going to be a different day. And if you're midway through your workday, let today be a different day. Shut your eyes and visualize something better. Visualize exactly what you want. Visualize exactly what you believe. And it is done.
So once you've opened up, once you've hacked it and you've done these steps, you are in the state where you can change your life path. And this is the hack. Decide what it is you want in that visualization system or visualization that we're talking about. Decide what it is that you want. Don't care what anyone else thinks. And pick your path. Do not quit until you get what it is that your heart desires.
Just that thing that you're seeing in front of your face every day is not real. None of this is real. You are living in a simulation and you choose, you decide, and you're not stuck.
Elon Musk said that, actually. He said,
Did he really?
So, founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, probably one of the smartest people in the world, the current day Einstein, so to speak, was interviewed recently and said that the probability of us not being in a simulation was very, very unlikely. I mean, I'm talking, he's had some exponentially huge number. He said it is more probable than not that we are experiencing a simulation right now. So think of like Matrix, the movie The Matrix, where we're all plugged in somewhere. This probably isn't real. This is Elon Musk that said that. And if you guys, quote me on this, guys, I'm serious. Go look up Elon Musk and simulation on Google. It'll pop up.
And again,
very interesting
it's not
topic.
that we're promoting anything. We're just taking it all in, bringing it up to you guys, opening it up for discussion. We're always going to be real with you guys.
Always. So that is it on neurohacking tonight, guys. Use those 4 steps, decide what it is that you want, and go fucking get it. We will see you next time.
For more free information on fitness, nutrition, and bodybuilding, visit us at www.bodyspartan.com.
Indestructible, undeniable. I'm a man with a plan, understand.